The Big 12 championship is here. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Slasher U. I'm your host, Christian Rao, here with my co-host, Steve Feck, and TCU will take on Kansas State for the Dr. Pepper Big 12 championship. Now, Steve, we have talked about TCU all season long. I feel like we've been on that train a little longer than most. They have found a way to win. Now we are back at it again with now the number 10 ranked team in Kansas State in the country. Whew. Now, this is one of those tough matchups. A lot of people think Kansas State can get that upset over TCU. I rebuttal and say TCU has always found a way to win. So I hand you over the keys, sir. What is your thoughts about this matchup?
It's funny. The first paragraph that I had jotted down was maybe it's going to be a block kick or a safety or a 99-yard run from scrimmage. TCU is probably, not only are they going to be able to pull it off, as demonstrated last week, they probably already game planned this in practice, every possible scenario you can think of in a football game. And I think they use like the little like Madden thing like that and kind of plan out things that could happen in a football game. And then they put it out in practice. I don't think I've ever seen a team win games in so many different ways as I have with TCU. And I think that's what makes them so endearing. You know, it's been really frustrating. And I am proud of the fact that you and I have been on TCU pretty much, I would say from week 2 or 3, we've been on the Horned Frogs saying, this is a good football team. This is a team that's going to cause troubles. And then it just kept steamrolling and building on each other. They made Iowa State's defense. And Iowa State's defense is not only statistically good, it's physical, and it shows looks and schemes that no other college football program does. And TCU just made them look silly. It was almost like they were playing the USC defense. I mean, we're literally, it was just, electric football players just kind of moving in slow motion, here and there. And TCU just did what they wanted. I think it was a good game to have going into the championship game because they had been through so much melodrama to get there and so much skepticism. The fact that they're finally the number 3 team in the college football playoff rankings, I say they're Michigan might have demonstrated they're 2, but I mean, I would argue that TCU has been 2 all along. I just don't see how it's going to end this way in TCU, and that's not a knock against Kansas State.
No, by any means.
In any way. And who'd have thunk it that they're playing better behind Will Howard than they would Adrian Martinez?
Interesting.
And I don't think Adrian Martinez had a bad year.
No,
it got hurt at the wrong time, and Will Howard's just gotten the job done. So you can't pull him. You got to keep going with him. I'm assuming Adrian Martinez is 100% or as close to 100% as he's been for a while now. Correct?
Yeah, he's been better. And the interesting part about it is that Adrian Martinez was banged up on the second drive of the TCU Kansas State game, and earlier in the season where TCU won 38-28. That was the second game of their cardiacness, if you will, of them coming back to, second week in a row where they came back after a second half deficit. They were down 28-17 at halftime. And this one, they wound up winning 38-28. If we're looking back at the past year, Max Duggan has been fantastic. If we're looking at how he played against Kansas State, he threw for 280 yards. He had 3 touchdowns. Keandre Miller ran for 153 yards and 2 scores. This offense was firing in all cylinders against Kansas State when they played earlier in the year. It's what got TCU to 7-0. Now they're looking to get to 12-0. I think they can do it. I think that they are looking to get to 13-0. Excuse me. I think they can do it. I think they can get this victory here. TCU is only a 2.5-point favorite. Hey, look, Steve, they're actually a favorite. Probably one of the only times so far this year. I'm pretty sure they were a favorite last week, but that was about it. However, I think whoever's at quarterback for Kansas State between Martinez and Howard, I think it's going to be a great game. Don't get me wrong. I think this one comes down to the very end of it. Wouldn't be surprised if Kansas State takes a lead like they did in the earlier game we had between these two in the season. TCU is going to find a way to win. That's my thought process on here with a -2.5 point spread, I said I probably wouldn't play any championship spreads. I'd play that one. I'd pick TCU -2.5 on this one. I think they can get that job done. I think they win by a field goal to 7 points. I don't think it's any higher than that. This is going to be a very good game. They will
Right.
not win by 10 points like they did against Kansas State. It's going to be a lot closer than that. But TCU knows what's on the line. They know what happened last time, and they got screwed over when there was an opportunity for them to get to the college football playoffs. They're not going to leave it up to chance. They're
Right.
going to win this football game. They're going to solidify themselves in the college football playoffs as a 13-0 team, Steve.
The other nice thing about this particular matchup, TCU and Kansas State, is that it is the exclamation point on the fact that the Big 12 is the best football conference, top to bottom, in America. You know, everybody was thinking Oklahoma, Texas, Oklahoma State, Baylor, all of these teams, you know, that everybody thought would be the traditional favorites in this. And here it is. You got TCU that nobody believed in except for SlasherU, and Kansas State, who really turned it on in the middle of the season and had some really big wins. And it just shows you how good this conference really is. Do they have the Uber team like Georgia in the SEC or Michigan in the Big Ten? No. I guess you could argue USC in the Pac-12. No, but they've got good football teams from their star player down to the 60th man, you know, on that roster. They've got solid teams. They can fill in holes, the better teams that are winning. So I'm really happy it's a TCU Kansas State and that Texas or Oklahoma or Baylor didn't get in here, not because I have a dislike for any of those schools, because I think I'm becoming a Big 12 fan, which I didn't think I would ever say.
Interesting.
Ever. I mean, honestly, and I mean, part of that's is WVU being there, obviously, and I follow WVU as far as a local club here where I live in Pittsburgh. But I just like everything about the Big 12 in so many sports. You know, softball, basketball, men's and women's basketball. You know, football this year. I think I'm becoming a Big 12 fan.
I love it. Love to hear that. So let us know in the comments below, who do you think is going to win this game? Will TCU find another way to win, or will Kansas State get the upset here and spoil possibly a college football playoff spot for the Horned Frogs? Let us know in the comments below. Hit like and subscribe while you're there. And thank you for watching SlasherU.